We got that booty. We got that booty.
I mean, he probably did, but he was talking about the mojito.
Sure.
Booty.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Because he was a dapper fella.
Do you want to make one?
Let's make one.
We should make one.
Hey guys, welcome back to another great episode of the Revival Social Club. My name is Mike Stojic. This is Malia Crispy here. Crispy Crisp? Malia Christie. Jeez, what is happening? And then we, as always, Dave back there scurrying around, looking at cameras and doing what he does.
Crazy.
And there's three of us, so that makes us the Social Club. Hey, Malia, if you were a pirate, what would your pirate moto noise be? Like arr, but you're like a hardcore pirate, so what would you do?
Let's get that booty. Let's get that booty.
That's not the right. Terrible.
Is that what booty is?
Yeah, well, they were going for booty. In fact, that's kind of the origin story of the drink we're talking about.
Booty?
No, so the mojito.
Oh.
But it was Sir Francis Drake who was ordered by Queen Elizabeth I to come across the sea to plunder
the
Spanish, well, to get the booty,
Good.
but to get the booty,
Okay.
which was like gold, not stripper booty.
We're all
that
learning
kind
together,
of,
folks.
Not that kind of booty. But she did. So Queen Elizabeth sent Sir Francis Drake across the sea to the different Spanish colonies in the New World to plunder them because, you know, they were not friends at that time.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, had it not been for that, we would not have a drink called the mojito. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Please do.
Well, since you asked so nicely. So we had this thing in 1588, Sir Francis Drake comes sailing across the sea, right? He lands in Havana, Cuba, with the whole intent to pillage and plunder and take the gold. He failed miserably. One of the richest cities in the West Indies, Havana, or one of the richest port cities in the West Indies, Havana, Cuba, and he failed pretty miserably. But
Did not get the booty.
No booty. There's no booty. We're making cocktails.
Okay.
Get this, put this,
All right.
whatever this is. Sorry, that's all right. But what he did get, arguably, well, I would argue, probably worth more than the gold he would have gotten. Because he came back with what would later become known as the mojito.
The mojito.
The mojito. But did you know that before it was named the mojito, it had a few names, one of them being El Drake.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as mojito.
Mojito.
But it was called, mojito. But it was the El Drake. It was named a few things. And the reason so I guess I'm taking too long to get to the point of the story. So when he made it across, right? One of the things we talked about in our Whiskey Sour episode was how a lot of sailors and naval seamen would get might get sick from malnutrition, and one of the things they would end up with is maybe scurvy,
Yes.
Dysentery, among other things. And well, Sir Francis Drake's crew was really no different. So when he came across and they landed where Havana was, the boarding party went out. They went to Cuba. And I'm not entirely sure what the deal was, but evidently very few shots were fired. So they didn't really, from all accounts, they didn't really come to plunder the way Queen Elizabeth wanted them to,
Right.
Perhaps because his crew was too sick. But what they did meet was a lot of the natives that lived there. And they made some really cool things, and they were living off the earth like they would in the year 1588, well, for a long time.
Right.
And they created different concoctions. They were using different herbaceous things like mint, for example, and the limes and some of the natural things that were growing on the island.
Yeah.
One of the cool things they were doing was making what would later become known as rum.
Right.
Do you know what that is?
Sugarcane distilled.
Yes, it is. It's basically sugarcane juice
I
distilled.
let him really own this moment.
Aguardiente de cana. It's basically the grandfather of rum, which loosely translates to burning water, which I think is really fun. And because of that, they did some interesting things where they added maybe a little bit of lime, a little bit of that cane juice or from the sugar cane, some fresh mint, and they created something that was very medicinal in nature.
I believe in booze as medicine.
It is.
I'm with it so far.
So they took this back. Sir Francis Drake said this shall now be forever known as the Drake, or El Drake, and it was spelled in different ways, named after him. But it wasn't until the year 1862 when Bacardi came online, and that's Cuba's distillery, came online, and they swapped out the Argentente, I think that's how you say it, Argentente de Cana, for rum, or Bacardi rum, because it had a better flavor to it. And when that happened, the name changed, and it became Mojito. And there you have it. Do you know where Mojito comes from?
I know it's from Cuba.
Yes.
That's what I know now. I just like to imagine Sir Francis Drake running back going, "We got that booty, booty. We got that booty, booty."
I mean, he probably did, but he was talking about the Mojito
Sure.
booty.
Right. Okay.
Okay, because he was a dapper fella.
Do you want to make one?
Let's make one.
We should make one. Okay, guys, it's time to make the mojito. We've got our 4 basic ingredients along with a little club soda. It's not hard at all, but the fresher and the better quality your ingredients are, the best your mojito is going to turn out. We start out with mint leaves. We're gonna do about 6 to 8, depends on how minty, how vegetal you would like for your mojito to be. I really love all the mint that's in a mojito, so I'm gonna go with 8 leaves. There's some talk about how important the variation of mint is, and they say spearmint's the best. We actually grow some mojito mint, so I'm going to be using that. If you can find it, great. Spearmint otherwise. And you just want to take 8, depending on the size of the leaves too. If they're humongous, then you can cut it back to 5 or 6, but I'm going to go with 8. You want to put those into your tin first. You do the mint first before you get to your limes, because you want to be able to press the mint and release the oils from it without just butchering your mint leaves. You want to release the oils, the flavor, the aroma, but you don't necessarily want to have to chew your cocktail.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you can kind of buy mint at any grocery store, but really it's a lot of fun to grow it. It's super easy to grow. It pretty much takes care of itself. It just needs a little sunlight and a little water. And even if you don't have a green thumb, it's still something real easy you can do in your home, and it really makes the mojito even that much more enjoyable knowing that you grew this in your backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, you're going to want to use, you do not have to squeeze your limes for this. You can if you want to, but again, if you use the lime wedges, you're going to get the juice from it, but you're going to get a little bit of the bitterness and the oils out of the peel from the lime. So I recommend just squeezing and muddling your limes as well. So do 4 of those, maybe 3 if it's a giant lime that you've got. And then you're going to use simple syrup. Again, we talked about simple syrup being 1-to-1 sugar to water. You boil it down just a little bit, and then store it in your refrigerator in a tight closed container. This is going to give you a really, really nice simple syrup that you can use for just about everything, and it'll last a really long time too. So 3/4 of an ounce of that. Now you have your first 3 ingredients in your tin. Before you add your rum, you want to make sure you do the muddler. This is a very important tool in my opinion. Everyone needs a good muddler. Using the back of a wooden spoon or a plastic spatula, it's just not the same thing. Like, I was thinking about it last night in the car, and I was like, how you imagine your first kiss and you want it to be just right? And then you're left feeling like sloppy and just unrewarded. Well, you don't want to end up with that. So everyone
Gross.
deserves a good muddling.
Get a good muddling.
Everyone needs a good
You heard it here.
muddling.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first, folks. So get a good muddler, and then you don't have to take out all your frustrations like you would on some, and you just want to press gently.
While she's muddling, fun fact, Hemingway supposedly really liked the mojito. We all know he loved the daiquiri. But he evidently is quoted, well, although it's not in any of his books, he was quoted, it was supposedly written in this bar called La Boguita del Medio, where he wrote on the wall, my mojito in La Boguita, my daiquiri in El Floridita, which are two bars in Havana, which he was always visited.
Yeah, I know for sure at El Floridita, that's where the Hemingway daiquiri came from. They called it El Padre, which meant Papa, because he would come in and drink anywhere from 10 to 20 daiquiris a day.
Where he got his inspiration from.
Have a strong feeling that he had a good few mojitos sprinkled in there too.
For sure. I mean, that's a lot of people's inspiration. In fact, the entire country of Cuba was basically one giant cocktail bar during America's Prohibition after 1919 through the Prohibition. Because where else are you going to drink? And Cuba was right off the coast of Florida. So basically the whole country was a big cocktail bar, and mojitos really gained popularity during that time.
Absolutely. So we have our first three ingredients, the lime, the mint, the simple syrup, which we've muddled with a good muddler. And then we're going to add ice. It kind of depends on what your preference is. A lot of people prefer pebbled ice, and you can use that if you want to. You can buy it, or if your ice machine makes it, that's fine. You can use cubed ice, but I'm always going to say just make sure that it's clean ice. For this one, we're just going to use a standard cubed ice, and then we're going to do another variation of the mojito in just a minute. So we'll add our ice to our shaker. We're using a Japanese shaker tin here. This is a 3-piece shaker tin.
Did we get the rum in there? Did you sneak it in?
The rum in there.
I don't know if we got the rum in. We're missing one of the most important parts.
Guys, it's not a mojito. Now it's just
a fancy water.
Now it's just a momo.
Now it's just a momo. It's a fancy water.
So let's make sure we definitely add 2 ounces of a good white rum. Now, listen, it's magical.
You can hear it.
You can actually hear it
The rum
going.
is talking to the ingredients. It
Yay,
says,
the rum's here.
we're going to make something very tasty.
So in your 3-piece shaker tin, you add the top, you add the lid, and you give it a good shake. This is not something you have to shake as if it's, a whiskey sour or something where you're really trying to prove something to people. You just want to get just a good roll. Then you pop your top off and into a Collins glass. If you sprinkle,
Take your
when
time.
you sprinkle,
Jeez, take your time, guy.
it's a production.
It is. You got to build up the excitement.
Let's just switch it up. Let's
This is a
fill the
mojito.
glass. Let's fill the glass with pebble ice, just so we're ticking off all the boxes. And you leave a tiny little bit of room because you want to hit it at the very end with club soda. Adds a little effervescence, and it kind of helps to cut a little of the tartness of that vegetal mint, and also because you're using 2 full ounces of rum, it just makes it light and airy. And the coup de grace, you're going to want to use a garnish of mint, and you're going to get a big bunch of mint here, and we get to do my favorite part, which is called spanking the mint.
So exotic.
I know. Spank it.
Ah.
So gently, you want to go around your glass, turn your glass, and as you're doing it, the aroma of the mint starts coming out. It sets off a chain reaction. Everyone around you wants a
Everyone
mojito.
gets excited because you really smell the freshness and the herbaceousness of the mint come through.
And you have a mojito.
Mojito. And if you guys want to do a fun variation, one of the things we sell, obviously, are our house-made cocktail syrups. And this is our lavender lemon or lemon lavender syrup. So we have our traditional mojito and our lavender lemon. God, I always screw that up. Lavender lemon. It's like a tongue twister. And you can find more information and especially the specs on this particular one on our Instagram, Revival Syrups. That's for the syrups. And we made it featuring one of our local rum distilleries here in Clayton and Still Distilling Company. And then for our traditional mojito, we use Kill Devil rum out of Kill Devil, North Carolina.
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks, baby.
There it is.
All right, enjoy.
So enjoy. All right, guys, thanks once again for joining us. Really hope you enjoyed our episode on the mojito. If you did, we would kindly ask you like and subscribe by clicking below. And also, we include some links. So click on those links, find the recipes for the mojito, our variation of the mojito with the lavender and lemon. And if you want some of that, well, then jump on our website. Also, click on the link below. And you'll see we have our different house-made cocktail syrups. And we're also moving some different barfly gear. So if you need some really high-end, heavy-duty, pro-level bar equipment, we have it here, just like you saw in our episode today. And with that, Malia, anything else?
I don't think so. I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, time to drink.
Let's
Time
do
to
it.
drink. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thank you.